What's going on, people, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. It's your boy David, bringing you guys the pre-match pump up for today's massive Europa Conference League group game, Rennes v Tottenham, where of course we start the road to Tirana now, where of course the final will be held. Anyone that does want to come on and have their say, guys, this show is for you. It's all about you. You can come on and have your say on today's thoughts. Do you want to see a reaction? Well, let me know. The link is up in the community section, guys. So get on it. That glorious membership that I know all of you guys have. It's better than Netflix. It's better than Amazon Prime. You get a lot more use out of this membership. You get the pre-match pump up. You get the post-match fan shows. And you get all the shows in between during the week, guys. So, look, make sure you do get that membership. But most importantly, I will be taking you all the way through to the watch-along, where Ben and Sim, we'll be doing the watch-along for you guys. But, look, first of all, housekeeping, make sure you do smash that like button. Make sure you do smash that subscribe button. The big push for 1K is on. It's at our 100K. It's actually a crime against humanity that these boys aren't already there, to be honest with you. So, guys, spread the word. Get it out there. I want to see these guys with that plaque in their studio. So make sure you do smash that subscribe button. And look, why not share your thoughts in a super chat, guys? It is an absolute great way to help support the channel. The chat does be absolutely flying. And if you want to be like me in the queue for a deli, sometimes you don't want to wait for that nice chicken fillet roll. Why not pay that person behind the counter a little extra to skip the queue? So, guys, get them super chats in. It does help you skip the queue in the chat. But, of course, guys, kick-off today, it is at 5:45 p.m. It's an early one for all of us. For some of the people around the world, it might be a late one, so grab the beers. Of course, we are at Rojan Park in Brittany. It is actually a lovely part of France, I have to say. I've been there. So I find it hard to disrespect Rennes today. But, of course, we are away. But, look, it is what it is. But, look, it's the first meeting between the two sides, guys. It's the first meeting between Tottenham and Rennes. So let's see what we can do. The last time we were in France, of course, Moussa Dembele scored an absolute beautiful strike. So let's see if we can take it there. Also, Harry Kane, if he starts today, he will be a record breaker, breaking Steve Perryman's record in European appearances in European competitions. So it'd be absolutely brilliant to see Harry Kane start today and break that record. And who knows, maybe bag a goal or two. Rennes, for the team news for Rennes, we are expecting Jeremy Doku to be out. We are expecting Jonas Martin to be out. For Tottenham, Son, look there, I think he'd be ruled out today 100%. And he'll be hopefully back for the Chelsea game. Hopefully, Nuno's playing a few mind games with them. Of course, Dyer is out as well with his dead leg that he picked up. And Bergwijn, I wouldn't say would be risked today, but you might see him on the bench. But look, it's not about me. I'd say people are sick of listening to me. So let's start bringing on the guests. Brad, my man.
Hello.
How are things?
I'm good, thank you. I'm on holiday this week, so it's good. Good.
Oh, very nice. Look, not such a good start for you at the weekend. Start to your holidays, but of course today we want to see a reaction. Do you think we will see one?
I'm hoping so. I hope tonight we see a good attacking performance and the win. Obviously, I think. It's needed because Saturday was a real letdown. I think it knocked everybody for six because of the good start that we'd had and all the good football and that sort of thing, albeit a little bit defensive, but we've been playing well. And I think after Saturday, everyone's thinking, oh, hang on a minute, so we need to get back to that and hopefully looking at last Saturday as being a bit of a blip.
Yeah, I hope so. And I agree with you. Look, me personally, I do think maybe it was a little bit of a blip. We have a lot of players out. But look, there's a lot of rumours today that Tanguy and Ndombele will be in the starting lineup, Brad. What do you think with Tanguy? Do you think, A, he deserves the chance? And B, if he has a standout performance, do you think maybe he could sneak into the team versus Chelsea?
I think we've got to go with Tanguy today. I really do. I mean, look, we don't know what happens on the training pitch. I mean, everyone goes, oh, he's not training. Well, we don't know that. We don't see any train. We see the little 5-minute clip that the club put out, but we don't really know. We haven't heard of any players moaning about it. Or even anyone, your Ali Golds or whoever might be, at the club, they haven't said anything about it. So yeah, the thing that Tanguy's not training well, we don't know that for sure. So we sort of have to presume that he is, and he obviously is fit enough to make the bench on last Saturday. We were really without creativity, as everyone knows. So I think tonight is a really good place to play. Look, here you go, Tanguy. You want your place back. Prove it. And also, if Tanguy does want to leave, he's got to make other teams want to buy him. So, it's a win-win situation for him, really. He gets into the team and he can get the move if he wants it. So I think he has to play tonight. And if he plays well, I don't see any reason why we can't play him on Sunday. It becomes a fitness thing, and the club is full of sports scientists and that they know how fit they are. That's my theory on why he hasn't made the squads. I think he has reached that level of fitness that's required a lot later than the other players, because we're all different body-wise, and I think that's the real reason that he hasn't made the squads.
No, interesting. But look, Brad, do you think maybe we know we have a bit of a creativity crisis at the minute, especially coming from that midfield area. Do you think that maybe giving Tanguy maybe a bit of a free role in that midfield today could probably solve that issue for us?
Yeah. Oh, look. You're always gonna get your creative players in teams that won't stick to strict sort of rules and regulations on the pitch, how the team plays. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have seen Glenn Hoddle play, and he was just brilliant. They built the team around him. I'm not saying that Tanguy's in any way the same as Hoddle, but you really have to do that with these sort of players and play him further forward where he can influence the attacking moments, that sort of thing. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry, Brad. I don't know what happened there, my man. I don't know what happened there. But sorry, back. Do you think that Ndombele can sort out the creativity crisis that we do have?
Well, he's one of the only players we've got that can do that. He's the only player, I mean, Lo Celso to a certain extent. Dele Alli in past years has been capable of it. I'm not saying he is in his new role at the moment. But yeah, he's the one player that can do something that the other team isn't expecting, and that's where you win matches. That's if you've got an even match, where two teams are evenly matched and they know what each other's doing. They know how to defend. You need someone that can do that unexpected, that catches the other team off guard. And I think Ndombele is one of those sort of players. So I really, really hope he plays well today, and he becomes a regular thing in the team, because I think every team needs that sort of a player.
Yeah. No, look, I agree with you. Look, for me, I've been very annoyed with him. But, thinking on it the last few days, kind of calming down and thinking on it the last few days, every team does have that renegade player where you have to allow them to do stuff that's out of the norm and get players to kind of fill in for their weaknesses. So maybe Tanguy is this player that maybe we do need to do this for. Another player I do want to talk to you about, Brad, is Bryan Hill. Look, of course, we're all expecting him to start today. 100% start today. He was actually ready to come on before the Tanganga sent it off during the week, which, look, me especially, I was pissed off that I didn't see Bryan Hill, but it turns out that he was being ready before the Tanganga sent it off. But how big of a part do you think that he can play this season? Do you think if he has as an outstanding performance tonight, that maybe Nuno could trust him to maybe start in some of the Premier League games? Because of course I feel he should have started against Palace, and I do think maybe he really would have helped us if Dele Alli played in midfield and Hill out left. Do you think if Bryan Hill does have an outstanding performance today, that maybe he can maybe wake a few eyes up to his ability? Because a lot of people aren't really expecting much from him this season, Brad.
Well, I think it's unfair to expect Bryan Hill to play every game and influence every game and be one of our best players, because he's only 20, he's only joined the club. It's a new league, it's a new country, but I certainly think he's got the ability. He's different in Tanguy Ndombele in the fact that I think Bryan Hill gets the ball and moves it on pretty quickly, which I think is very, very, very important. Whereas Tanguy Ndombele can get the ball and carry it and then do the pass. So you could probably play the two, certainly in a game like today. If someone like Son is injured, then you can play the two there, because you can play Tanguy Ndombele in a normal midfield role, and you can play Bryan Hill in the sort of the number 10 role. But I think, if you're going to play him, today is the time you play him. It's like, it's no use thinking, oh no, he's not ready yet. No, give him a go. And I think he certainly has impressed at every level, like in the under-21s to Spain, in the Olympic final, that sort of thing. So why not give him a go? Yes, it's a different, certainly the Premiership's different. This sort of competition might be different for him. But I think you should definitely give him a go.
No, 100%. Look, I think, Bryan Hill Messi, Brian Hilva, whatever you want to call him, I think this guy is going to be absolutely quality. I do see a lot of Luka Modric in him, and I'm a big believer in this guy, so I'm expecting a big performance from him today. But, Brad, I think the big question is, look, for me, I think Rennes is the toughest group team in the group that we're going to face. I think the other two teams we should be beaten, to be honest with you, easy. But for this one, do you go with Harry Kane up front, or do you put Harry Kane on the bench and start with Scarlett up front?
That's a really difficult one, because I personally, and I think you've heard my opinion on Harry Kane on Saturday. I think he's carrying literally the Euros, the Man City thing, and being battered by Poland. I think that was all on him on Saturday, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that's why he performed poorly. No, he didn't get the service, that's true, but I still think he performed poorly.
Yeah.
But I would ideally like to rest him, so he's really, really fresh for Chelsea. But with Son being injured, do you really want to give all that sort of responsibility to someone like Dane Scarlett? So I'll be inclined maybe to start him tonight, and then maybe if we can get a good start, then sort of take him off. But or you could go the other way. You could sort of start with a semi sort of a strength team, and then you've got him on the bench as a sort of a backup if you need to win the game or draw the game or whatever it might be. So it's a difficult one. And let's face it, Nuno gets paid the millions of pounds to make that decision. But I ideally would like to not see him play tonight. But I think it's a game, as you say, that the hardest game we're going to have in this group stage. And if you get a draw tonight, then you beat them at home and you've gained the points on them. Because I think we need to top the group. Which, if we get past Rennes, we should be able to do that quite comfortably.
Look, it's no secret. I love Harry just as much as I love my mother. But look, be honest with you. Look, for me, he has to play. He has to start. For me, you start him, let him bag 2 or 3 goals, take him off, and then bring on Dane Scarlett or Dane Mbappe, and hopefully let him score one. But for me, I definitely think he has to play. But look, sticking to Harry Kane, of course, whether he comes off the bench or whether he starts tonight, hopefully he starts, that he will be breaking Steve Perryman's European record for Tottenham Hotspur's appearances. So look, what's maybe your favourite memory? What's maybe your favourite memory from Harry Kane in Europe for Tottenham Hotspurs?
In Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, in Europe. I think the very first Wembley game against Dortmund, which we won 3-1. I think he scored in the opening minutes of that game, and then he got the goal right near the end or in the second half that won us the game. I think actually Dortmund again, the game where we had the 3-0 first leg lead, and then at 0-0 you still don't know, and then he got the away goal meant that they'd have to score 5, and he gets put away, and you think who's one person you'd like to see on a clear run towards goal? It's Harry Kane. He put it away, and I was watching in the pub and I'm jumping around because I knew that goal effectively put us through into, I think it was the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So they're the 2 memories for me. It's all coming back to me now. The other one against in the Champions League season when we got to the final, that game against I think it might have been PSV where we 1-0 down, and I think he scored the 2 goals, didn't he? We got the equaliser, and I think he scored to make it 2-1. And that's it. It was 1-0 down, and then he scored the equaliser, and then right near the end he scored the winner, and and we were through, and we were kept alive in that competition. So there's many moments, but that's an amazing. I didn't know that stat that he's broke or he's equaled Steve Perryman's record, because Steve Perryman, he was one of the old-fashioned players who stays at the club for literally forever, and I'm old enough to say that I actually saw Steve Perryman's first game for Tottenham. So the fact that Harry Kane has actually equaled that record, that's pretty incredible, and all the better that he's playing for us and not City this season.
Well, look, Brad, you shouldn't be surprised. Look, me, I come with all the stats I can find. Don't worry about that. I come prepared and come with armour. But look, for me, my favourite memory has to be his first goal for Tottenham against Shamrock Rovers. All them years back in the UEFA League, in the UEFA Cup. That has to be my favourite moment. Look, especially because it was against an Irish side, and I went to bed thinking, can Harry Kane be the man to do this long term? And it turns out he was. I was absolutely buzzing off it. So I'm absolutely delighted. So if Harry Kane ever does watch this, which I presume he does, congratulations, Harry Kane, in advance. But look, Brad, who else would you like to see in the starting lineup tonight? Any other players that I've missed that you'd like to see feature?
Yeah, I think we have to start Rodon for the simple reason that we're a bit lack of central defenders now with Tanganga being suspended for Sunday. We don't know the situation with Romero and Sanchez, other than they'll be back in the country on Saturday. Is that too early to give them a start on Sunday? So we're struggling for central defenders. So I'd like to see Rodon start because I think it's been match fitness why he hasn't made the squads, and he needs match fitness. So he's a young lad, so you play him tonight. You also play Tanganga because, as I said, he's suspended on Sunday, so you play him tonight. I'd like to see Emerson given another game. I'd like to see Emerson see what he can do. Obviously, taking on Billy and Brian Hill. I'd like to, if time permits, if the game permits, I'd like to see Dane Scarlett. And wouldn't it be great to see Dane Scarlett play tonight and score? That'd be absolutely brilliant. I think that would be a 1-0 Tottenham win or a 2-1 Tottenham win with Dane Scarlett scoring the winner. That'd be
First of all, Brad, I think you're disrespecting the guy. You have to be calling him Starlet Mbappe. You know that's what we call him. You have to be calling him by his true name. You know, it shows all the potential in the world. No, look, I agree with you. It'd be very nice to see, to see him play and to see him get a goal. I can't wait for that moment. I really can't. And look, I definitely think he will get his first goal over the next couple of games in Europa League or in the Europa Conference League group stage. I definitely see it coming. And for me, look, he's a player I have really high hopes for. But speaking of you prospects, you probably have Alfie Devine on the bench tonight. You might have McCandy. There's a few others knocking around there. Would you like to see them get minutes as well, Brad?
Yeah, look, as I say, if the game allows, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not like when you're in pre-season when you have a friend and you bring on your substitutes and give them a run. I think we need to be well in the game. So yeah, I'd love to see someone like Mancandi, who I've never really seen. I've heard all about him. Someone mentioned he's similar to Edwards, who we had a few years ago.
I have to stop you there, man. We have breaking news. We have the lineup, so I'm going to give the lineup to you, my man. And it is Galini in goals, like we expected, with Doherty at right back, Tanganga and Rodon at centre back, which was almost a certain. Davies at left back. So no surprises there in the back four. Now in midfield, we have Skip and Ndombele, Bergwijn out right or out left, Mora out right. It maybe looks like Hill will either be dry, or do you think it's a 4-2-3-1?
Who was the left back?
Left back is Davies.
Oh, okay. So you would assume that it's four at the back with Davies sitting back and Doherty going forward. Skip and Ndombele. So you got Lucas and Bergwijn and Kane up top. So if you have a 4-2-3-1, so you play Hill, Ndombele, so you've got your anchor in Skip and I personally would rather see Ndombele play further forward. I think he's a little bit weighted in that sort of pivot role, but that's how it looks to me. Doherty's a bit of a surprise, but I guess Nuno's going on the thing that he needs more game time, and maybe that suggests that Emerson will definitely start against Chelsea. So with Tanganga being out, so you haven't got you're down to you haven't got any more right back. So I would say that would be the case there. Yeah. So it's actually with Kane up top as well, which I'm not unhappy with. Don't get me wrong. It's quite a strong lineup actually. It's I think it's certainly a lineup that should beat or at least get the draw in France tonight. Yeah.
No, it definitely should. Look, he's definitely going out there. He's looking for your reaction. It's strong enough, in my opinion, to be going out there and getting the job done within 60 minutes. But look, Brad,
who's on the bench? Who's on the bench?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I will find out. I'm not 100% sure yet. But look, what's your score prediction, Brad?
Well, I was predicting last night. I've actually gone for a 2-1 Tottenham win, which you know me, I'm normally not that positive, but after what's been happening, but. Yeah, I think that they have a thing to prove now. Rennes are a decent team, but to be fair, they're the 5th best team in France. So, I will go for a 2-1 win. I think we'll score first. We might even go 2 up actually, and then Rennes will get that comeback goal, and then we'll hang on to it. But I think we'll win 2-1 tonight, and that really sets us up to comfortably win the group stage, which to be fair we should be doing anyway. Often and get the 2 goals up in the first half, then you've got a chance that you can rest Kane for Sunday and bring Scarlett on, that sort of thing, if he's on the bench. But yeah, I'm going for a 2-1 win tonight.
And your goal scorers, Brad?
Oh, it's got to be Kane, isn't it? Kane has got to score tonight. I think definitely Kane. You might see someone like Bergwijn scoring. He's due a goal.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, look, Brad, you go off, get yourself ready for the game. You're on holiday. So, look, order yourself up a nice pizza, get a few beers out of the fridge, and enjoy the game, my man. But before we let you go, you need to give me a pump-up line and the biggest come on you Spurs I've ever heard.
Okay, for all you people at home, come on you Spurs!
Absolutely love it. Big up, Brad. I really appreciate that, my man. And I'll see you again soon, Brad. What an absolute guy.
Bye.
See you, Brad. What an absolute legend. Big up, Brad Hotspur. Everybody in the comments. Big up, Brad Hotspur. I see a lot of people in the comments asking what time kickoff is at. It's Mr. Flat Cap himself. It's Jack Kanicki. How are you keeping, Jack?
Keeping well, David. It's good to be here. It's good to be back on these pre-match pump-ups as well, just led by the Don himself.
No, it definitely is. No, look, I appreciate it. But look, Jack, you've seen the starting lineup. What formation? Do you think it definitely is looking more like a 4-2-3-1? And the reason why I say that is because, Brian Hill was used by Nuno in the previous games, especially the one at home, more or less in that free floating role in front of Harry Kane. So do you think it is a 4-2-3-1 or do you think he has gone for a 4-3-3?
I don't think it could be a 4-3-3 unless, Brian Hill is then also, maybe a box-to-box midfielder at the same time. It seems like that 4-2-3-1 makes sense, David, considering that, Tanguy's played sort of in that pivot before. Of course, that's not maybe his ideal position, but it does make sense. Skippy will be, the one holding it all down, and then Tanguy can be the one to venture forward. And then also, like we said, the combination of Brian Hill, Tanguy, and Harry Kane is honestly unfair. You might think that, the link-up play will just be absolute sacks at times. And I would probably just say, Tanguy could be absolutely brilliant going forward, but hopefully he might be in shape or even up for it, mentally-wise and attitude-wise. But definitely, David, to answer your question, 4-2-3-1. And that's just because, Lucas and Steven up top as well. I think that only suggests it could be a 4-2-3-1.
No, 100%, 100%. Jack, speaking of Stevie B, are you maybe a bit surprised to see him in the lineup tonight?
I am a bit surprised to see him in the lineup, just considering I think he's more of a nailed-on starter for some of the Premier League games, it seems like so far. You might even say in the Crystal Palace game, despite, maybe how Stevie B hasn't exactly maybe shown up with the X's and O's in terms of numbers or anything, but he was absolutely vital to us in certain games, in the past in the Premier League. So felt like he was kind of saved for those matches, but maybe he had that, kind of huge ankle, brace or ankle ice pack or whatever he had at one point. So maybe he's just kind of getting back into the flow of things just to get a bit of confidence because he hasn't played for maybe over a week and a half.
No, 100%. I think that's the case, and it's a good shout. And just like Brad was saying, I think he's overdue a goal as well. So hopefully we can see a good performance from him. But look, Jack, let's get on to what everybody wants to talk about. It is the re-emergence of Tanguy Ndombele in the starting lineup. Look, you're a big Tanguy apologist, a Tanguy stan. And look, Tanguy Cyrus with the haircut now. But look, I actually do hope he has a very good game. I hope he can create, solve that creativity problem. But Jack, what do you expect to see from Tanguy today, given that Nuno has given him that lifeline?
I would just say, hopefully, David, this is the answer to a bit of that creativity problem. Of course, maybe going up against Rennes is a bit different than maybe a Premier League team, of course, in terms of fixing that creativity. But having Tanguy, Stevie B, Lucas, Kane, and Hill, I mean, geez, that is plenty of creativity there. Just plenty. I mean, practically, enough to create a painting, you might say, in terms of creativity. But I would say Tanguy, I'm very excited to see if he can actually be that box-to-box midfielder that we've seen from times before. Of course, he was able to do that very well under Jose when he kind of played in front of Musa Sissoko and Højbjerg. He actually did quite well at it, kind of coming back and going forward again and leading the charge, taking the ball up the field with his own 2 feet. That's what I'm looking forward to, Dave, because sometimes with Tanguy, he can just break the press, just a simple step over, a simple, turn, a simple, just putting his defender in the washing machine kind of moment. You might just say that Tanguy, that's what I'm looking forward to, is just seeing the skills, seeing him break the press, because we've seen a lot of our midfielders, even Højbjerg, sometimes they do kind of struggle sometimes at breaking down a team or just, maybe doing something a bit outside the box, you might say. And so with Tanguy, there are going to be a lot of kind of things that, we just haven't seen before, kind of intelligence or vision that we're probably just not used to. Hopefully that will be on display as well. I would say with Dele Alli, I think Dele Alli's been unbelievable this season defensively, but hopefully maybe the contrast between Tanguy and Dele is that with Tanguy, you'll see more of that creativity, that vision. You'll see him be able to hold on to the ball maybe a bit more, maybe not be dispossessed as much as Dele is sometimes. So I think, in games like this, when we just need to be able to dominate a team with the ball, with possession, I feel like Tanguy is actually a great choice for this because he is someone that probably does value keeping the ball. He probably doesn't want to be on defense too much, David, when you think about it. So it is kind of someone that will maybe possess the ball a bit better, maybe concentrate on dictating the tempo and whatnot. So that's what I could expect from Tanguy, and hopefully we see that from Tanguy. Of course, I'm kind of hyping him up a bit.
No, look, of course, look, I don't Harry Kane, you know, but look, with Tanguy as well, Jack, do you think maybe playing in his home country, of course, in Rennes, might give him that bit of added motivation, and that maybe we do see a standout performance today? And if we do see a standout performance, would you put him in contention for the Chelsea game?
That's a difficult question, Dave. I would say, him coming back to France, it's hard to know like how much that motivates him. Maybe it does, just to maybe prove, his fellow compatriots, that, he's still relevant, especially at Spurs. Maybe he'll still prove to them, listen, I can still do whatever I want. I can still turn it on when I want. Maybe that's what he's going to be doing. But all I can say is I think he's really just going to be trying to prove himself to the likes of Nuno. Even some of the Spurs fans are just going to be watching from the TV as well, just because he's been so heavily in the news and in the media with, his attitude, his mentality, his, kind of, I don't know, misdirection, you might say as well, and where his actual goals and expectations are. And if he were to just, maybe silence us with a few beautiful step overs, maybe a beautiful assist and chip through ball, whatever it may be that he does to open up the game, hopefully we can all kind of warm up to him again. But I think he has a lot to prove to us, David, just because I wouldn't say similar to Harry Kane, but over the summer, there's been a lot of drama and negative attention, surrounded by Tanguy. And I think fairly so, negative attention drawn towards him. But this is maybe his opportunity to not only, of course, for, maybe his compatriots in France to prove them wrong, but also maybe to prove people that are just Spurs fans wrong. Just that, he can turn it on when he wants to. Of course, that's not my favorite trait in a player, that you can just, choose when to play well, choose when to, maybe open up a team and play his best. But I think that's what we might be seeing from Tanguy today. It's just, we'll just all of a sudden be reminded of that absolute beautiful quality that he does possess.
No, 100%. And look, just I'm playing
in the Chelsea game. Sorry, Dave. Yeah, and then the Chelsea game, if he plays well enough, I would say he would need. If he played really well, he got a goal or an assist, and maybe he was pulled off, let's say, in a very Tanguy fashion, let's say 60th, 70th minute, there might be a chance that he probably would be safe for the Chelsea game. If we see him maybe play the full 90 minutes or close to the 90 minutes, I would then say that would suggest he might not be playing in the Chelsea game. But if he gets pulled off early while still playing well, he definitely could be, I would say, probably a likely contender for the Chelsea game.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And look, just playing devil's advocate maybe here a bit, Jack. No Harry Winks in the starting lineup tonight. Do you think now maybe Tanguy is ahead of him maybe in the pecking order now, or do you think maybe Nuno is resting him?
David, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, because then we'll just start, jumping for joy here, thinking that, the time has finally come that Nuno's seen the light. But, I would say it's a likelihood, but it also then, David, it still depends on what Tanguy can do, right? Because Tanguy still has to prove himself for why he's better than Harry Winks, why Harry Winks should never even be considered ahead of Tanguy. And we've made theories before about how maybe Harry Winks is just a much better trainer than Tanguy. It probably has better training stats and whatnot. It's just probably that, Nuno has trusted Harry Winks in those, training sessions that, oh, this guy could possibly do it. And he's probably learned his lesson from Harry Winks. And now it's time for Tanguy to step up and prove him wrong. Despite probably Tanguy not being the best in training, he might be actually the best on the field when the game actually matters, when the match actually starts, when the whistle blows. He's actually the better one. And so hopefully, again, he can prove that to Nuno, prove that to Spurs fans. I know plenty of people in France, do rate him, but this is, like I said, and I'll say it again, this is really Tanguy's opportunity just to silence all the fans and remind everybody this is why he is that player that everybody likes to rate for his quality.
No, 100%.
And also the Harry Winks thing. Sorry. Yeah. But in terms of Harry Winks, I kind of thought he was going to be starting, Dave. I saw the Evening Standard where, kind of predicting him to start. Lots of them were kind of thinking this was kind of another, Harry Winks, maybe charity, appearance. But it's all good news for us, Dave. It's all good news for us. And I think this is a very, very strong lineup, probably one of the best lineups you could practically put out there without, I would say, putting too much youth or conceding too much quality. I mean, if we can't pull it off with this type of team, then I'd be quite concerned.
No, I agree with that. I echo them concerns, Jacob. But look, just for the substitutions, everyone, interestingly enough, there's two goalkeepers on the bench, Hugo Lloris and Austin, with Amole, Fagan, Walcott, Reguilon, Emerson, Højbjerg, Winks, Niall John, Deli, Scarlett, and McCandy. So an interesting bench there with the two goalkeepers. Maybe that's more out of necessity than than anything else. But look, Jack, moving on. Of course, Harry Kane, in the starting lineup. You know the record. He's about to, beat Steve Perryman's record appearances in European football for Tottenham. What's your standout Harry Kane moment in Europe?
That his halftime team talk against Ajax was actually one of the main reasons why we even came back against Ajax. And so, David, that's a bit of an outside shout, but that is what someone in the Harris Army reminded me of last night, kind of enlightened me on that. Sometimes we kind of make fun of Harry Kane for maybe his halftime speeches or even kind of a bit of his dialect as well. But apparently, in that Ajax game, he was the one that actually, in a sense, put on the captain's armband and really led the team to victory, led the team past Ajax and that huge historic upset. So, David, that's going to be my answer for right now is just, the human side of Harry Kane, let's say, that, and also probably the, just that leadership that sometimes we do question from time to time. And you could say in that Ajax game, he was probably the one, accordingly to a lot of the players, that really led them out of the halftime, to win that game. So that's what I'm going to say, David, a bit more of an emotional response instead of just Harry Kane quality response.
No, look, I'll take that. I'll accept that, Jacko. Look, another one I want to talk about. I'm going to start calling him the saviour just because I really like him, and it's Brian Hill-Messi, Brian Hilva. Look, if the guy has another good performance today, do you think maybe he can play his way into the team against Chelsea? Of course, if we are playing a 4-2-3-1, it might tempt Nuno to go 4-2-3-1 against Chelsea. Maybe do you think he can force his way in if he has another standout performance?
That's difficult, David. I would like to see that, especially, a lot of us were quite disappointed he didn't show up in the last game against Crystal Palace. A lot, it probably had to do just with the case of the red card, also that kind of that Ben Davies substitution, as well as the Eric Dyer injury. He was down to just one substitution. He still could have probably put in Brian Hill. I think we all recognize that Brian Hill still should have come on, but Nuno's plans were kind of sabotaged by what happened in the last game. And we had the opportunity to see Brian Hill, but we did miss it, unfortunately. So this is maybe a makeup, you might say, for what probably was going to happen against Crystal Palace. And I'd love to see him absolutely just take on that free role, especially if he's going to be playing in the center of the park, David. That beautiful left foot he has, that vision he has, just seeing the hair whip behind him every time he turns his man. It'll just be beautiful to watch. I really do think so. And as well, obviously we only saw it once, Dave, but that Harry Kane, Brian Hill, Messi connection from the Paços de Ferreira game at home was, I think, something special. And hopefully we can see that again, because if we do see it again, where they're just on some other level of playing field and connection with each other, I think that would mean that, they have to play together against Chelsea, because if they have a deep understanding, let's say, Brian Hill and Harry Kane, I think Nuno hopefully has to recognize that so we can use that and take advantage of that against Chelsea.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And of course, look, Tanganga, of course, keeps his place because he won't be playing against Chelsea. But Ollie's skipping there as well. Look, we're big fans of their aggressiveness. How much they get stuck in. Great to see them play today. Do you think it's a good move by Nuno to, because he could have played Højbjerg, but he played Skip to get these two guys in there, to turn the ball over and just be hard to beat when they're coming up against us with the aggressiveness of some of the players.
Yeah, David, and isn't it also Rodon and Tanganga and Skippy? It's a trifecta, David. It's another,
sometimes Bermuda triangle, Jack.
We have multiple Bermuda triangles, David. It doesn't have to be down the right-hand side for us. It can be in the center of the park as well. We have multiple combinations of just absolute just destruction, kind of bone crunching kind of men, you might say. And I think Skippy, Tanganga, Rodon, again, they're practically going to be fighting over some of the players they're going to be tackling. They might even be taking turns at times, saying, listen, Tanganga, I get this one. And then Rodon's going to be telling him, listen, I get to take on this guy. Honestly, I'm looking forward to just seeing which ones, maybe go out for it first, especially Jaffet. He loves a good hard tackle right in the beginning. He loves to just sit someone down, right past the ref, especially when the ref is most lenient, David, in the first 5 minutes when they let everything go. Be interesting to see Joe Rodon, Skippy, or Tanganga just lay on a very hard tackle just to set the tone in that middle of the park. And we used to say, David, that Bermuda Triangle was on the right-hand side where the fullbacks were on the right-hand side, but to see it in the middle of the park is honestly very different, and honestly looking forward to it.
No, I definitely am. I definitely can't wait to see it. But look, Jack, there's a lot to look forward to there. We have Endon Bele, Brian Hill, Harry Kane, all in one starting lineup. It's a glorious day to be a Tottenham fan. It's a glorious day to be alive. It really is. But look, Jack, what's your score prediction, my man? And give me your goal scorers as well.
David, it's going to be crazy. I know it's just the staple, score prediction, but I am going to go in for the 3-0. I'm going to go for the 3-0, maybe even a bit more. I think Harry Kane's going to open it up from a Bryan Hill assist. And then after that, I'm going to say Bryan Hill actually does score and get his goal for the club, especially against a quality opponent like Rennes. I think would be really good confidence boost for him. Third goal scorer, just because, you know, as a Tanguy stan, as a Tanguy apologist, I'm going to say Tanguy just pulls up with one. I would say something maybe similar to that Marine goal he scored, Dave. I believe it was just that absolute, you know, just wandered into the box, a little nice heel chop, tucks it into the near post corner, you know, nice and beautiful, nice and tidy. I would say that's what it's going to be for me. It's Harry Kane to open it up in the first half. I would say Bryan Hill scores the second one in the first half, and then maybe Tanguy adds a third one in the second half.
Absolutely love it. That's if Tanguy's fit enough to be running around the second half.
If he can make it to 60, yeah.
No, but look, absolutely love it, Jack. But look, you know, while you're here, before we let you go, where can everybody find you if they've enjoyed what you had to say?
Appreciate it. Listen, they can find me on over at the Irish Hotspur, of course, but obviously they can find us as well at our new channel, David, at Black Cap Euro Talk. There's plenty of content over there, especially if you're looking for maybe a bit of a Champions League roundup, even a bit of a Champions League predictions. You know, the Champions League group stage predictions is already out. It's a nice, almost kind of beautiful length, David, right over an hour. I mean, me and Darius from Paxton Road just dive into all the teams, you know, how it might be looking. I will say, you know, some of the predictions we've already made seem to be a bit clever, as say ahead of time, especially for Darius. Some of his, you know, thoughts are definitely coming true. Champions League is upon us. So if you're definitely a Champions League guy, especially now that Spurs are not in it this season, obviously they'll be in it next season, of course. But now that they're not in it, you know, if you're still kind of a Champions League nutty like I am, no better place to go than Flat Cap Euro Talk. Also, Dave, I would say, you know, sometimes, you know, while Spurs are probably outside the Champions League, you know, and whatnot, you kind of wouldn't rather, you know, watch a Liverpool stream or Chelsea stream on the Champions League. You just want, you know, a nice neutral Spurs fan giving you the information on that. So might as well just head on over to Flat Cap Euro Talk.
No, definitely 100%. And we have Orange Fantasy says we want Jack and David on the same show. Big up Orange Fantasy. Big yourself up. Good to see you in. But Jack, thank you so much for coming on, my man. But before we let you go, look, I want the pump up line, and I want you to wake up the whole of Brooklyn right now with the biggest come on you Spurs.
Got it. The pump up line, David, is going to be, you know, the Tanguy washing machine is open, you know, the laundry machine is back open. All the people are going to be spun, you know, it's going to be on high spin mode, you know, nice and dry. You know, it's not going to be a low tumble. It's going to be high tumble, nice and dry. All the Rennes players are going to be looking around, probably be seeing stars over their head, David, every time. And that's definitely going to be in as well. Tanguy is going to get that banger that I was talking about. I did say it's going to come from inside the box. It's going to change my mind. It's going to be a Højbjerg unleashed, maybe from 30, 40 yards out. And that's going to be it for me, Dave. And probably, yeah. Come on, you Spurs, Dave. Let's get it.
No, absolutely love it. Big up, Jack. Really appreciate you coming on, my man. And we'll see you very shortly. Big up, Jack, everybody. But look, let's waste no more time. You know, let's bring on, you know, look, I call him the voice of reason, but he's a level-headed guest. He keeps everybody calm, especially me. And it's one of my favorite as well. But don't tell him that. It's our man, Philip. Philip, how are you keeping, my man?
Hi, David. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, Philip, and you?
Oh, yeah, good enough, yeah. Even better seeing that team. Because I was expecting stronger, but not quite that strong. So it's really, really positive. You know, I think Nuno has realised the mistake he made against Paco Ferreira, and he's not going to make it again tonight.
No, 100%. I think he has realised the mistakes. Look, the only two players that you probably wouldn't feel 100% with is maybe Doherty and Davies. How do you feel about them being at fullback? Surely everyone else around them can complement them and get us through this game, Philip.
Yeah, no, I think I expected those two to play. Actually, you know, I don't think Emerson or Reguilon were going to be risked with Chelsea coming up. You know, I'm a bit surprised actually that Winks isn't playing. I nearly felt certain he'd be in the team tonight, but he's not. So all the better for it. But no, I think the fullbacks will be okay. I mean, we're strong in every department tonight. There is no weak link in that team. No, especially with Harry Kane. I mean, Harry. And I said the other night that if I was sitting in the Rennes dressing room and I see Harry Kane and I say, oh Jesus, this is good. You know, so it's a psychological boost for us to have Harry Kane up front. Be on for half an hour or half the game. That's all we'll need him for.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. But look, of course, the midfield, Philip, looking at the midfield, look, it's stronger than what I thought. You have Ollie Skip, you have Tanguy and Ndombele in there. potentially Brian Hill, but with looking at the midfielders, Ndombele, Brian Hill, and Skip, do you think it's a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1?
I think it's.
Philip, your internet is a bit choppy there, my man.
I don't know where the noise is coming. It gets water. I'm having problems earlier on with the modem locator. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. It's 4-2-3-1 is a formation.
Yeah.
With Harry Kane up. I mean, it's great to see Ndombele in there. It really is. Now, I'm going to nickname him tonight the Tottenham Steamroller because I reckon he could steamroll through that match.
Yeah.
Especially with Skip alongside him. We were talking the other night about who's going to mind him. Skip is the ideal minder for him.
Yeah.
In that position, and it's great to see Brian Hill playing as well.
No, it really is. It really is.
Am I coming through or not?
Yeah. No, you're fine. Look, with Tanguy Ndombele, Philip, look, what are you expecting to see from this guy today? Of course, given another lifeline, are you expecting to see maybe a bit of our creativity crisis coming from that middle, maybe solved tonight, and this guy is the solution?
I would hope so, because let's face it, we've been very weak on creativity so far this season.
Yeah.
He hasn't played this season, so possibly bringing him in now will allow Tanguy to. David, I'm getting a lot in the background here. Let's just
maybe log out and try and log back in, Philip.
Sorry.
Maybe log out and try and log back in, my man.
Yeah, give me 2 minutes, David, will you? Because I have to. Yeah, I lost my phone, I think. All right.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, give me 2 minutes. I'm back. All right.
Yeah, no problem at all. Big up, Philip, everybody. Just having a bit of the internet troubles.
You know what you do, Dave?
But big up, Philip. He will be back. Don't worry about that, guys.
I'll come back
but look, we have another guest sitting there waiting. And why not? Let's bring him on. And it's Dan from Dan THFC. Dan, how are we keeping, my man? Yeah, doing the twist and turn, that's for sure, definitely. Do you think, playing in Rennes, with the French manager, I'd say obviously he'd be keeping an eye on him and watching the game. Do you think maybe he has a point to prove?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if he has a good performance, it's very likely that he'll play against Chelsea. So that's where I'm looking at. But this is probably the biggest game, one of the biggest games we'll get in this tournament, if we play Roma. So we got to put out a good performance, and if we win this one convincingly, I'll be very, very convinced that we can win this tournament. I am obviously, but this could be a tournament that I think we should take seriously, and if we do, I think we could end up with the trophy in our hands at the end of the season.
No, I absolutely love it, Dan. Of course, I definitely think we will. Look, Harry Kane, of course, in the start lineup. Look, I've been telling everyone he's set to break Steve Perryman's record for most appearances in Europe in a Tottenham jersey. What's your standout moment for Harry Kane in Europe?
In Europe, that's a good question. That is a good question. I think he's been better in the league than in Europe, in my opinion. But maybe that. Oh, I don't know. It's a hard one. There's been a few. I mean, I heard Jack talking about when he motivated the team at halftime against Ajax. There could be some other good ones in there. That's a hard one, David. I'll have to think about that one.
Maybe his 2 goals against Dortmund.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I think he against Madrid.
Yeah.
His performance against Madrid in 2018, that could be a candidate, but I'd have to think about it. I'll give you an answer on that later on.
No worries. But look, back to the starting lineup, of course, Brian Hill. Are you excited to see this guy today?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see that man turning defenses around. Imagine Ndombele and Hill. This was the ones that I was calling for such a long time. And I want to see Hill play against Chelsea so bad because they've lost. Chelsea have their red card to their right back. So that means we need to control their left-hand side. Whether that's Bergwijn or Hill, I don't know, but I don't want to see Dele Alli in that position. That's for sure. Then you see Brian Hill, I think, is that type of player that will run at defenses and he will cause them problems. So I think it's the correct decision from Nuno, and I think it was the right one.
No, 100%. I definitely think it is. I'm very excited to see him. Are you maybe surprised with the strength of the starting lineup, Daniel? Like, look, I was expecting to see a strong enough one, but maybe not this strong. Are you surprised with the starting lineup, how strong it is?
Yeah, honestly, I thought I was going to see Harry Winks. I celebrated when I saw the lineup because I was reading Harry Winks, Harry Winks. No, Harry Winks. Yes, come on. I was celebrating like a goal, but I think it's questionable because maybe we're going well, and then during halftime we might turn out take off Harry Kane, bring on Dane Scarlett or something. But I actually wanted to see Dane Scarlett start, and then maybe have Harry Kane on the bench, those qualifying games in the Europa League where we had these great options on the bench. If it was not going our way, we brought him on, and it would just clear the game for us. So. Yeah. But I mean, he's gonna break the record in for Europe, as you said. So I'm not complaining about it, but maybe seeing Dane Scarlett later on in the match, I would be happy with that.
100%. I'm just looking at Nuno's lineup. Do you think maybe it's a message to some of the backup players that look, if you're not going to pull your weight, I'm just not going to give you any game time? Or do you think maybe he done it just because Rennes is the strongest game in the group and he wants to get the 3 points to make the rest of the group easy living for him?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to he's trying to get 3 points from this one. I think if we get this one with a convincing, let's say a 2-0 or 3-0 win,
yeah,
it will be a big statement, and it will be a big confidence booster going into the Chelsea game. Now, if we lose this one, imagine the confidence going into that Chelsea game. It will be bad. So I think Nuno's gotten that into consideration. So I think for me it's gonna be a 2-0 win. With goals from Harry Kane and Ndombele to make his statement about coming back into the starting 11. They freed him from his cage. They gave him the key. So it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
They gave him the freedom of the city, huh? Freedom of the city. Yeah. No, look, as well, look, Doherty's and Davies at right back. Does that worry you, or are you still confident going into this game?
Look, we're not going to see the whole starting 11 in this match. That's it was common knowledge. But still, I'm happy with the lineup, even though we have Davis and Doherty. But as I always say, David, as long as they are Tottenham players, I want them to succeed. So if they do have a good performance, then I'll back them. I back them. But if they do those performances, they call Davis Mr. Reliable. I'm not too sure about that statement after that game against Palace, but look, I just want to see a good performance from the lads.
Yeah.
If we win, we're gonna take down the criticism for today. We'll give them a little bit of a break. But also, I think they were resting Reguilon and Emerson for the Chelsea game.
Yeah, it's crucial. It's crucial, 100%.
Yeah.
But looking at the starting lineup, look, you have Tanguy, you have Hill, you have Lucas, you have Bergwijn, you have Kane. There's plenty of creative players there. Are you expecting to see us maybe on the front foot today and creating plenty of chances here today?
Yeah, definitely. I expect us to be on the front foot for sure. The only thing that you've Doherty, and Doherty is the type of right back that will press more up. He's not great at defending, but he is good at attacking. So that's why I think it could be beneficial for him today to play, because we're gonna have more possession of the ball. But then Davis is actually one of the defenders that is not good at attacking. Well, he's not good at attacking or defending, but he's better at defending than attacking. So I think that's why I was a little bit concerned about him playing in the starting 11. But we don't have much other options, so it makes sense. And then Tanganga, obviously, he's in the lineup because he's not going to play against Chelsea either way. He's got a red card. So I think it was a lineup that we all expected to see.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. And look, Daniel, I want your score predictions off you on your goal scorers, my man.
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to stick to it. 2-0. A goal from Harry Kane and a goal from Ndombele. I want him to write his mark. I want him to say to Nuno, you saw what I can do. Now play me against Chelsea, and I want him to score again against Chelsea as well. But that will be for the pre-match pump-up for Chelsea game, not for this one.
No, 100%. I look forward to it. But look, before we go, give us an out pump-up line. Get everyone pumped up for this game and end on the biggest come on you Spurs.
This is going to be a really fun game to watch, because I'm actually being watching it with my little cousin, who's also a Tottenham fan. He's like 7, so his favorite player is Dele Alli, so he was a little bit frustrated when he didn't see him in the lineup. But I explained to him that he's going to play against Chelsea, and he's a little bit more calm now. But look, this is a game where we're going to see a lot of creativity, way more creativity that we saw against Crystal Palace. You see Brian Hill in the lineup, you see Ndombele. So there's no reason why not to be pumped. There is no reason why not to be pumped. And I'll end it off with my biggest, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs!
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Look, it's morning when you are. I'm sure you've woke up the whole neighborhood. I appreciate that.
It's 12 p.m. It's a little bit later into the day.
That's all right. It's all right. So, but look, I appreciate it, my man. I appreciate you coming on. Look, before you go, though, you do have a channel. Where can people find you?
Oh, thanks. Well, you guys can find me at the NTHFC. Do Monday podcast where we bring on guests. David, you've been on, and a lot of the people that were actually on the stream today were on as well, like Jack and a few others. So if you're interested in what I have to say and you want to find more of it, the NTHFC is the place to go.
No, 100%. Everybody do get over there and check it out. Dan, I appreciate you, my man, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Come on, you Spurs.
I'll see you again soon. Well, look, guys, there we have it. You know, that brings us to the end of the pre-match pump-up. Guys, make sure you have smashed that like button. Make sure you have smashed that subscribe button. I hope you've enjoyed it. But most importantly, stay tuned. The Goats of Tottenham YouTube are coming up. You know, it's the ones you all tune in, the ones you really want to see, not my ugly mug. So stay tuned. They'll be coming up. And it's the guys, Ben and Sim, doing the watch-along today. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned. And I can't wait for this watch-along. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Tottenham, we're going to beat Rennes. We have Skip, or we have Gil, Ndombele, Lucas, Bergwijn, Kane. I'm expecting an absolute goal bonanza today. So everybody, you know, I can't wait. Make sure you tune in and watch the boys celebrate at least 3 or 4 goals here today. I'm going to go 3-0, potentially 4-0. I think Tanguy has a point to prove. I think he wants to give a big finger to the French manager. So hopefully he has a good game and maybe gets a goal. I'm going to go my man, Harry Kane, with the brace. Of course, I won't know until I see his hair. You know, I'll know when, as soon as I see his hair, I can make the Harry Kane hair prediction. And I'm actually going to go with maybe Brian Hill to get one as well today. But as always, guys, in Nuno we trust. And come on, you Spurs.